Hi everybody, how are y'all today?
Hello.
Is it okay if I take off? Okay. Just a few feet of space. So yeah, I'm John Michael. I'm here representing Murfreesboro Community Gardening. So I just wanted to talk with you about a few things today related to what we do exactly. Please forgive me, she sent me the presentation in PDF form, so it's not nice and tidy like a PowerPoint. I think it'll work for what we needed to. So just to give you a little bit of background information on me, like I said, I'm John Michael. I was born in Northwest Tennessee in 1990. Then I moved to East Tennessee in 2004. Lived in Athens for a little while, and then later Chattanooga. And then I moved here in 2015. So as for what inspired me to garden, I would probably say my first inspiration was my great-grandmother back in Union City, Tennessee. She had a small garden in her backyard, and she would grow things like squash and tomatoes and stuff, and she would cook that for us. And also, my grandfather owns some family land, and he leases that to a couple of my cousins. So they'll grow corn and soy on that every year, and they do that as part of their livelihood. So like I mentioned, I moved to East Tennessee in 2004, which was where I first started to garden. So it's kind of like rocky clay soils over there. It's probably better growing area here, or maybe in West Tennessee, but I did the best I could. And then I moved to Chattanooga for a few years, starting in 2011. I had a private garden there where I lived, and then I don't know if y'all ever heard of Grow Hope Urban Farm. It's off Glass Street in Chattanooga. And they work with locals to kind of like what Murfreesboro Community Gardening does, teaching gardening and building community together. So I guess I'll go ahead and go into the presentation. In terms of Murfreesboro Community Gardening, what I do is I help manage social media and organize volunteers. So you can find us on Instagram. We have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, and we also have a website. I've been with the organization since 2018, and we are a nonprofit, so we have nonprofit status. As I mentioned, our purpose is to build community through sharing a space to garden. We learn about growing food using proven methods of soil and water sustainability. Other community garden models will sublet little areas for different individuals or families to use, but we just share the whole space together and plan and administer that. So we are open from March through October, which is the available farming days in Tennessee. We actually get about 200 growing days here. So if you want to join us, not this Saturday, but next, it's March 5th. We'll have our opening day back from 10 to 12. I did want to just mention, you may notice that I'm wearing a name tag. I am part of the Tennessee Extension Master Gardener program. I'm an intern right now, so we're learning classes on horticulture and things like that so that we can educate the public on exactly how to garden. I do want to explain a little bit about the Tennessee Extension Master Gardener program. It was started as part of the Land Grant University Act, which is the Morrill Act of 1862. It was amidst the Civil War, and it was meant to study agriculture science, science, engineering, and military science. So basically, it was a national effort to industrialize and do it in a coordinated effort. We have two land grant universities here in Tennessee. One is the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, and the other one is Tennessee State University in Nashville. If you want to become a Master Gardener, you can sign up. The application deadline is usually December 1st. And then this year, I'm attending the program. It started at the end of January, and then it goes to the end of April. So I have to fulfill some community service hours to keep my certification up. But it's a really good way to get involved with people in the area who are doing everything, like as Dr. Johnson's doing the vineyard at the extension. And then also you can learn beekeeping and things like that too. So I guess next we'll go over a little bit about the timeline of Murfreesboro Community Gardening. You can see Autumn here, she's the founder. That's her husband Aaron, that's Denisha. She does outreach. We also have Wendy, that's Danielle, she's You can see a few of the stats that we have. So you'll have to bear in mind this slide was made a couple of years ago, so everything's been in flux. These happened at the lawyer. So yeah, we're a nonprofit, as I said. We had hundreds of volunteers, made hundreds of pounds of produce, lots of photos, and that's the size of our garden is 20 by 20. Well, I can't math right now, 2,000 square feet. So as part of the timeline, Autumn, Aaron, and Danielle moved here back in 2010. They had a townhome together, and we're trying to figure out how do we garden. All we have is a patio. We don't have any yard, so I know I can relate because I live in an apartment and I have like a balcony, and I'm fortunate it faces the south, but it's still a confined space. So she started the community gardening Facebook page in that year in 2010, and she started canvassing and seeing who all would be interested in participating. She also joined the Extension Master Gardener program as an intern in 2010 as well. So she completed that in 2011, which was also when we had our first article in the Daily News Journal's local newspaper. She attended the food summit, as you can see, and those are some stats about our page. So we had our second interest meeting in 2011. The third was during the 2012-2013 time frame. Then in 2014, things got kind of serious. That was when we started our partnership with Key United Methodist Church. That's where we're currently located right now. It's actually just a few blocks that way. Head towards the boulevard, take a right, and then left on Hancock Street, left on State Street. So they've been very generous in sharing their plot with us, so we don't have to pay for real estate or anything, and they actually have their own church garden right next to us that they manage. So we got 6 board members. We were in another article at the D&J, and then we also registered with Volunteer Rutherford. So even if you want to volunteer, but maybe not necessarily gardening today, you can go on there and find all the other things that are available to help with the community. So yeah, here's a picture of our garden, some folks helping, our feature. In 2015, we achieved grant funding from the Farm Credit Mid-America. They're like a co-op that provides farm loans to people who need that. We also got a new fence thanks to Tennessee 4-H. Then New Vision Baptist Church came and helped us in like a 2-day blitz and did a whole bunch of things in the garden, as well as some junior league volunteers. And we got a new sign too that you can see right here. In 2016, we started composting as part of our soil sustainability initiative, I guess you could call it. That was also it actually led to a grant that I'll talk about here in a second. We got some donations from Twin Creek Farms as well, and featured in the VIP magazine and Rural Pulse. And we also had the New Vision volunteers return that year as well. Also the Kroger Community Rewards. That's another way that you can support us. I don't know if y'all are familiar, but with your Kroger card, you sign up for whichever organization that you want to support, and then when you buy groceries, it gives a small percentage. So that's Danielle. They were talking about our garden, something public. Okay. In 2017, we had our first t-shirt fundraiser. I actually meant to pass this around. So this is an example of one of the t-shirts that we did. I know it needs to be ironed, but take a look at that if you want. We have a few other ones. If you go to Bonfire and search it online, then if you really want to get one, you can do it, and it supports us. So, and then there's multiple cuts. You can do V-neck, you can do it. You can get just like a regular cut t-shirt. You can do a hoodie or the tank top that I got. Also, in 2017 was the first year that we were part of the Secret Garden Tour here in Murfreesboro. So that is basically through the Extension Center, they'll nominate several community gardens, and we've had the honor of being nominated several times. People pay to attend, they go to different ones throughout Rutherford County, and then the proceeds go towards the Discovery Center, the Creative Science Center for Kids that's on Broad Street. So we're very proud to be able to participate in that. Thank you. We also started the Amazon Smile donation program in 2017. So if you ever want to help us or participate, you have multiple ways to do so. You can do the Kroger program, you can do Amazon Smile, you can donate at our website, or you can just show up on Saturday and help us with your time and talents. So, some more pictures of those. I feel like we've been growing by leaps and bounds. Okay, so 2018 was when I joined. So I was really excited. My mom actually saw a feature in the newspaper about Murfreesboro community gardening. And she was like, hey, I know you like to plant stuff, you should go. And it took me a minute, but then I finally was like, okay, and I've been with them ever since. So we got a new shed in 2018. Our Facebook page reached 1,000 likes. We got another merit grant, this time from seedmoney.org. And we started a garden at the Safe Haven Women's Shelter that year. That was Father's pet project. In 2019, in 2019, we created our hugelkultur bed. Have y'all ever heard of hugelkultur? Okay, it started in like Germanic culture. It was brought here. Basically, you can get like logs and stuff and straw and different things and build like a raised bed, and it keeps itself, proper moisture content and things like that. And as it decomposes, it self-fertilizes. So it's kind of like a long-term way to plant things year after year. We also received a donation from a local Eagle Scout troop. So they organized our shed, installed a solar light, built us a work table and benches. So they went all out for us, and we were very appreciative of that. You can see Ella and Tanisha there. Autumn really likes to take pictures of bugs, so see a lot of that. And then that's a drone picture of our garden before we got it started for the season. Okay, so I just kind of lumped 2020 to now all together because it kind of feels like that. So we continue to participate in Murfreesboro's Secret Garden Tour through this time. We do educational seminars. You saw at the beginning, we had 40 plus classes that we've done. That includes things like garlic harvest. My friend Jacob, he was a hemp horticulturist, and he taught us how to propagate plants from cuttings. And we also started a dedicated website at murfreesborocommunitygardening.org. I hope maybe we can get that shortened like Inboro Gardens or something, because that's a really long URL. But we've been very proud of it. I've been contributing to the blog that we have there, so we have over 60 articles available, anything from soil to plants, recipes or history or whatever. So yeah, it's constantly updating, and I recommend you check that out. And then, as mentioned, I also began doing the Extension Master Gardener program this year. So I'm excited to do that. But yeah, we've really noticed that since we've been incorporating no-till methods, crop rotation, composting, things like that, that we've gone from like clay to really loamy soil. So it's kind of a testament that actually does work. So some of our partners. Do you have any questions so far?
What are you doing this year?
I'm sorry?
What are you doing this year?
Well, it's going to be kind of a continuation of what we have been doing, which is building community and gardening together. I'm working with Anisha so we can go into the area neighborhood around and inform people what we're doing and be like, hey, this is your garden too. You can come and join us. And then there's some other things that I want to work on. I was hoping maybe we could take some of our harvest and donate it. There's a local food kitchen that I'm interested in, but we're kind of transitioning from just one person making all the decisions to be more democratically run. So we split responsibilities between the weekends. I'll have the second weekend of every month, except for next week I'll have to go out of town. But, so we split responsibilities like that, and hopefully we can donate part of our harvest. I'm excited. Any other questions so far?
I have a follow-up. What are you growing? What are you planning on growing?
Well, we have garlic growing right now. This past year we focused on herbs, so we have a bunch of herbs that we need to do something with. We had them planted in the ground, and they probably need to be cut back, but we're transitioning. We'll take cuttings from those, and we're actually going to build an herb spiral. Have y'all ever heard of an herb spiral? Okay, yeah. So I'm not 100% sure on this, but they evidently began in Japan as herb snails, is what they're called. And so you orient them to the sun, and that gives you they can be raised or they can be flat, but originally they start from the bottom, kind of like a pyramid spiraling down, and that gives you more running space to plant things, and also has different microclimates on each side depending on how they're oriented with the sun. So we think that'll be nice to add that as a permanent fixture, and hopefully we can use upcycled materials to do so. So that's a big thing we're doing this year. Anything else?
Have you guys used essentially like a crop rotation system with like nitrogen fixing plants in the winter, like clover and winter wheat and stuff like that? Have you guys used that?
That is something we do.
Okay.
We bear in mind. It's not a perfect system. We are a volunteer organization, so we're not like super strict on people about it, but we do move things around the garden, and Autumn tends to do the planning on that. So, thank you. As mentioned earlier, part of the motivation for why we do this is to address food insecurity. So that has to do with food deserts, where, say, if you don't have a car to get to a grocery store or something, is there a grocery store within a 10-minute walk of you? And if not, maybe we can inspire some community gardens in the area to help fill in some of the gaps. So you can see those are some of our board members and core volunteers. Danielle's a little older now, but yeah. So in the 2014 to 2015 period, we were involved with the Franklin Heights After School Program. It's a community center. So it's mostly distributing things that we've already covered. We have a little bit more reach in our social network. I remember when I started the Facebook group, I had added like 30 of my friends or something, but now we're up to like 350 with like community members and stuff, so we're getting a lot of people involved, and it's really exciting. As I mentioned, we just share the garden. It's not individual spaces, it's just all of us together. I'm going to talk with her and see if maybe I can show up earlier in the week or something, because some people are like, what if I can't come on a Saturday morning, or what if I'm a college student that wants to sleep in, or whatever, maybe we could do a Monday night or something. So I'm gonna look into that one. I'll show you the updated core leaders here in a second. Okay, so here are just some facts about food deserts. You'd probably be surprised to know that just how many people there are who can't, just walk to a grocery store. And I mean, I know maybe we take for granted sometimes we have a car or something, but not everybody does. So here's a map that was done a few years ago. It was a local survey, and these icons represent the grocery stores, of course. So you'd be like, oh, those are plenty of grocery stores. Well, here's where you look, where it's just a 10-minute walk, and then you have all this space in between that don't have access to good, nutritious food. So, just to add like a little bit of a personal story, in the past couple of years, I had experienced some personal hardship where I didn't have a car. I'd gotten into a wreck, and so I was traveling for a while, trying to save for another, and I was having to ride my bike to work like 6 miles and to the grocery store or take public transit. It was kind of difficult, but So you can see, let me find it. Right here is where my apartment is. And as you can see, it's labeled as a food desert. And I would have to ride my bike a few miles up the road so I could get to the Kroger. And you can just imagine me driving back with bags hanging on my handlebars, trying not to crush my eggs, and sometimes it was really cold outside. So I can understand from first-hand experience how serious of an issue this is. So, but I do have a car now, so things are improved for me. So on our blog and things, we discuss different education like soil, improving soils, recipes. I didn't make this slide, otherwise I would have spelled it right. Please forgive me. So these are just some of the next steps for our community garden. As you mentioned, what are we doing? We're going to continue our mission of gardening and educating, supporting each other's projects like Autumn with the Women's Shelter. Hopefully, I'm not going to mention who yet, but hopefully we can give some of our produce to a local food kitchen. And we would always appreciate your help. So again, next Saturday, March 5th from 10 to 12, and we'll be available from then through October. So you can, if you want, you can go to the farmer's market downtown and then come to us right after and just have a whole day of organic food. All right, any other questions? Well, thank you. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak in front of you, and I hope we get to see a few of you in the garden. So.
That's all we have planned for today. So feel free to stay behind and talk about the garden, look around the greenhouse. We have a lot of